Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. This is the Village Board meeting for the Village of Willow Springs. Time is 7 p.m. and this meeting is called to order. Clerk Manella, can you please call the roll?
President Carpino, Trustee Burks,
Here.
Kennedy,
Here.
Nettermeyer,
Here.
Posh, Moon, Carr. That completes the roll call.
Thank you. And I'll mention that we are conducting the meeting simultaneously by Zoom.
So I want to read a statement from Trustee Carr, who is unable to be here this evening. I'm not going to be in attendance for tonight's board meeting as I will be out of town. Since coming back on the board 4 years ago, I have not missed a meeting. With that in mind, I would like my fellow board members to know my position on the agenda. I have read the board packet and respond with my approval for the following items. He has given me what he would have voted for had he been here at this meeting. It will not count into the vote or the roll call, but at least it lets everyone on the board know what his opinion was on the matter.
Thank you, Clerk Manella. Let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, everybody. We have no presentations this evening, so our first item of business is disposition of previous minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the board meeting from April 8th, 2021?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Posh, second by Trustee Kennedy. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Nettermeyer,
Aye.
Posh,
Aye.
Moon, and Carr's vote would have been to approve.
That completes the vote. Motion carries and the minutes are approved. We'll move on to reports of officials. First is that of the village president. We have one item of business under the report of the village president this evening, and it is with my sincere respect and appreciation that we honor the public works tonight. We have before us a resolution, which I will read into the record. Resolution 2021-R-08, a resolution declaring the week of May 16th through May 22nd as National Public Works Week in the Village of Willow Springs. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the Village of Willow Springs. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for all citizens of the Village of Willow Springs to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2021 marks the 61st annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore be it resolved by the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Willow Springs that the week of May 16th through the 22nd of 2021 is hereby designated as National Public Works Week in the Village of Willow Springs. Be it further resolved that all citizens of the Village of Willow Springs are encouraged to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designated to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions that they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. May I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Burks, second by Trustee Moon. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to say something. I'd like to also thank Sue Grantlin for all the support that she's given her husband and all this. She makes all of our meetings and she's supportive of every event that we have. So thank you very much for making his job easier.
More discussion from the board? All right, let's take a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Nattermeyer,
Aye.
Posh,
Aye.
Moon, and trustee Carr's vote was to approve.
Carries. Thank you all very much.
Madam President, may I say a few things?
Yes, please.
First, I want to thank our Public Works Department. I see them most mornings. I see what they go out there and do. They're one of the hardest working crews I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of Public Works crews out there. They're the hardest working crew that I think exists in the south and southwest suburbs. They get more accomplished with less than anyone else. I think this is a very appropriate resolution, and we have prepared some certificates for the appreciation of our guys. We have a few in the audience. I'm going to turn it over to Keith in a minute. But I'd like to read the certificate that we have prepared for them. In recognition of the superior service and professionalism shown in the performance of your duties, your devotion and dedication to the people of the village of Willow Springs is truly exceptional and appreciated. You are a critical part of the first responder team. Your service reflects the highest standards of professionalism for a public works maintenance worker and brings notable claim to the village of Willow Springs. Gratefully presented this 22nd day of April in 2021. And I would ask leave to turn it over to Keith for his recognition.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Madam President, for this.
Keith, is your mic on?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
I'd really like to thank my crew. I mean, the hours we put in this winter, 20-hour days with the snow they've done an exceptional job. Both the ladies and gentlemen of my crew. They're all top notch. I'd take my crew and put them against anybody around here. I'd like to pass out some certificates to the people that are here. The rest will pass out tomorrow. So if you would come up so we get our picture taken. Victor Juskis.
I can't hear it.
Jim Buckerman, and I do remember Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have one for Keith as well.
I
And
don't,
while-
I don't bring a phone to the meeting.
Thanks, Sue's got it.
Okay.
Sue's got it.
And can, before we do this, I'd like to say one thing, Madam President. There was Keith asked me to put these together for his crew, but there's one notable one missing that he never asked for, and that was one for himself. And he is every bit as deserving as his crew for the leadership that he shows to this department. So I prepared one for Keith, and I would like to give it to Keith.
Show your certificate.
Hold your shirts up. Hold your shirts up.
All right, Joe.
Again, thank you all for all your hard work that you do every day. We really appreciate it. And congratulations. The next item of business for the village president is just to say, today is Earth Day, so happy Earth Day, everybody. I think it's a good fit now to give the Beautification Commission report because cleanup day for the Beautification Commission is, again, reminding this Saturday. It's not too late to sign up. We have over 50 people signed up already to help. Public Works is contributing a great deal of help with this event as well. And we will focus our efforts that day on readying Legacy Garden Park, which is scheduled to open May 1st. Also in the area of beautification, you might notice yard signs around town indicating beautification project in progress. The Beautification Commission has several landscaping enhancements that will be taking place over the next several weeks. Thank you to the Beautification Commission and the Public Works Department for helping with that as well. We can't wait to see them when they're complete. That concludes the president's report. We will move on to that of the village administrator, Brent Woods.
Thank you, Madam President. The only thing I have for you this evening is an item under the attorney's report, which I would like to address briefly, is ordinance 2020-0-10, which is granting a special use to Carol Mistretta to operate a drive-through restaurant at the property commonly known as 8850 Archer Avenue in Willow Springs. I would like to report on the Planning and Zoning Commission hearing that I was in attendance at. The Planning and Zoning Commission met. 6 of the 7 members were present. There were no objections from the public. The plans were presented to the commission, and the final vote on the recommendation to grant it was 5-1 with Mr. Mistretta abstaining from the vote. And so it was a unanimous vote with the exception of the abstention. The second item I have, I'm sorry, I said there was only one, there's 2, is that item number 6C2, which is a business license request for Imperial One Construction at 8374 Archer Avenue. The applicant has requested that it be pulled from the agenda this evening and considered at the May 13th meeting. That concludes my report, unless there's anybody that has questions of me.
Okay, thank you,
thank
Brent. On to the report of village clerk, Clerk Manella.
Thank you. I have no report for clerk, but for Water Commission, you will be receiving your, I would say monthly, but I think at this point it's quarterly report from the executive director at the next meeting. And the hydrant sandblasting and repainting is scheduled to start next month. That ends my report.
Thank you. Village engineer Dan Lynch.
Thank you, Madam President. The item on the agenda this evening is the annual resolution which the board passes appropriating the use of motor fuel tax revenue. This is essentially to notify IDOT how much motor fuel tax revenue the village is appropriating for the calendar year, which coincides with your fiscal year. As you see on the form, the dollar amount mimics what's in the village appropriations, which is $283,661 of motor fuel tax revenue. The planned resurfacing project for this year include Dory Lane and Mildred Court. And then if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to address them.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion for resolution 2021-R-0-9.
Make that motion.
We have a motion by trustee Kennedy, second. By trustee Moon. Is there any discussion or any further questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks?
Aye.
Nettmeyer?
Aye.
Posh? Moon? And trustee Carr's vote was aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
I have nothing further.
Thank you, Dan Lynch.
Thank
On to report of village attorney Eric Peck.
Thank you, Madam President. There are 2 items under the village attorney's report for the board's consideration this evening. The first is consideration of ordinance 2021-0-09, which is an ordinance authorizing the disposal of village-owned surplus property, that specifically being a 2007 copying machine with a serial number of 7808862. With the passage of this resolution, it would authorize the village administrator to dispose of the surplus property in any manner he sees fit, which may include the sale, auction, or donation of the property or any other lawful means. And that is the first item for your consideration this evening.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Motion by trustee Moon, second by trustee Posh. Discussion or questions about the ordinance?
You have somewhere for that to go, Brent?
I'm sorry?
Sell that, or do you have somewhere for it to go?
No, there's no usable parts on it. It's an extremely old one. All it's doing is taking up space at Public Works.
Gotcha.
Okay.
We'll offer it for sale, see if somebody buys it, but.
Any further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Niedermeyer,
Aye.
Moon, and trustee Carr's vote was aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The second item for your consideration this evening is a Plan Commission Zoning Board recommendation. As Administrator Woods had stated, it was with regard to the property located at 8850 Archer Avenue. And for the record, on Monday, April 12th, 2021, the Plan Commission Zoning Board met to consider the application of Carol Mistretta and Nino's Italian Beef and Hot Dogs for a special use permit to operate a drive-through restaurant on the property located at 8850 Archer Avenue in Willow Springs. At that hearing, Terrence Carr Jr. spoke on behalf of the applicant, and at that hearing, the Plan Commission Zoning Board considered all evidence and testimony, and they found that all the conditions were met that would be required for the requested special use. At that hearing, there were no objections to the proposed special use. And based upon that, it was the Plan Commission Zoning Board's recommendation to approve the special use, subject to the following condition, that a special use permit would be granted for the operation of a drive-through restaurant, subject to the following condition. Operation of said special use shall in all other respects comply with building, business, and liquor codes in the Village of Willow Springs. And that is the recommendation before you this evening for your consideration.
Thank you, Attorney Peck. Before I ask for a motion and a second and a vote on this, I just want to point out that I will be abstaining from this vote.
I'll make that.
And I also want to acknowledge that we have applicant Carol Mistretta here to answer any questions. Is there a motion for ordinance 2021-0-10? There's a motion by trustee Moon. Is there a second by trustee Posh? Any discussion or questions?
If I may, it's a motion to concur with the Plan Commission Zoning Board's recommendation to approve the special use.
Thank you for clarifying, Eric. Okay, if there's no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks,
Aye.
Kennedy, Niedermeyer,
Abstain.
Posh, Moon, and trustee Carr voted to approve. Aye.
Thank you. And that's all I have this evening, Madam President.
Thank you very much. We'll move on now to the reports of the standing committees. Building and Zoning Committee, trustee Carr is not here. Is there a report for the Building and Zoning Committee?
I don't think so. There shouldn't be.
Don't
It would be
believe that
next
there.
meeting.
Yeah, no, I apologize. It shouldn't even be there. It's usually the first meeting of the month.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Finance and Administration Committee, trustee Posh.
Thank you, Madam President. I have one item tonight for approval, and that's for payroll and payroll expenses in the amount of $92,727.70. All fund expenses in the amount of $135,966.42 for a total expenditure of $228,694.12. And I would like to make a motion to approve the payroll and warrants dated April 22nd, 2021.
Thank you. We have the motion by trustee Posh,
Second.
second by trustee Burks. Discussion or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Niedermeyer,
Aye.
Posh,
Aye.
Moon, and trustee Carr's vote was aye.
Thank you, Madam President. That ends my report.
License and Franchise Committee, trustee Moon.
Yes, one correction, unless there's been changes. They show this as the license and franchise chairman, Mr. Burks. Is that a mistake, or have I been?
Oh, I don't know. I apologize.
Anyway, that's a correction. Correction, please. Okay, number one. 6C1, business license Nino's Italian Beef and Hot Dog Incorporated, 8850 Archer Avenue. The applicant is applying for the business license to operate the restaurant and bar and a drive-through. Zoning committee has passed it. The sign regulation compliance passed, and a state recommendation gave approval. So with that, before we vote on it, Ms. Estrada, would you like to stand up and tell us a little about the license you're applying for?
Sure, we got a mic for you. Happy? Let's try this one. Okay, fine. There you go.
I never thought I'd see the day when I stood here before all of you and said that we're going to open a restaurant in town. In the past,
Is that on?
we've gone to Tim's, we've gone to Sma's and enjoyed our times there. I think this is a good opportunity not only for us, but for our community.
Excuse me, Mrs. Mistretta, could you move that a little closer to your mouth?
For our community. So I just want to thank all of you for your continued guidance and support in the positive change that happens to this community. And I can't wait for the grand opening. You're all invited.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, with that, I'll make a motion to agree with the license.
Thank you, trustee Moon. And again, before I ask for the vote, we've got the motion by trustee Moon and second by trustee Kennedy. I will be abstaining from this vote as well, but before we do that, is there any further questions or discussion?
Can I ask when you plan to open that, Carol? Any idea when you're going to open? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Okay. Okay.
Will there be gaming there?
Trustee Burks wants to know if there will be gaming there. Trustee Burks, were you able to hear the answer?
Okay. Did we take the vote?
Not yet. Is there any further discussion? Trustee Burks, were you able to hear the answer?
No, was it yes or no? I didn't hear.
You had asked if there will be gaming, and Carol Mistretta said that they would be applying for it, but they haven't done that yet, and that's not their main focus. Do you have any
Okay.
further questions?
No. I know that the property was just, that Heidner was under some type of suspension from the IGA board, but I just saw that they successfully renewed their license, so.
Okay, is that all, Trustee Burks?
What's it? Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Now you would take the vote?
Is there any further discussion or questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks,
I'm gonna abstain.
trustee Kennedy,
Aye.
Niedermeyer,
Abstain.
Posh,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
and trustee Carr would have voted aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries and license passes.
Okay, so the second item is 6C3. It's a sign permit for Exxon Mobil station at 8700 Archer Avenue. And the applicant is applying for a permit to alter the existing signs. So the zoning committee has passed it. The sign regulation compliance was passed. Building commissioner approved it. And staff recommendation is approved. So is there anyone from the Exxon Mobil here tonight to explain a little to us, or
I can,
they're not?
I can
Okay.
address that. I can address that if you'd like, sir.
What's that?
Would you like me to address something, sir, to it? Okay. What they're doing is, that's the old 7-Eleven gas station. The proprietor of the old 7-Eleven is opening it up as sort of like a little mini mart called Willow Mart. And he's opening up the gas station as well. So all he's doing is basically he's just changing the name on the sign from whatever the gas station was, the 7-Eleven gas station. It's occupying the same footprint and will be the same material. It's just going to be a changed name.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion, I'm sorry.
Motion by trustee Moon. Is there a second? Second by trustee Kennedy. Further discussion or questions? Okay, there being none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Burks,
Aye.
Kennedy, Nettermeyer,
Aye.
Posh,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
trustee Carr would have voted aye.
And we did have the third one, I believe Brent did say earlier, the Imperial Construction at 8374 Archer Avenue. We're not able to be here tonight, and they have not applied for it officially. So that ends my report, Madam President.
Thank you, trustee Moon. Municipal Buildings and Grounds Committee, trustee Kennedy.
I have a couple things. The Public Works building should be done tuck pointing by Monday. And then as soon as they're done with that and they get nice weather, they'll start painting. And then the Village Hall Island, all the mulch has been removed and replaced with grass, and the sprinkler system should be active next week. And the police parking lot is supposed to get paved on Friday, weather permitting. And Village Hall and the second set of police cameras have come in, and they're gonna install them within the next couple weeks. And that is all I have.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Public Safety Committee. We have the incident report that Chief has provided for us for the month. So we have a chance to review that. And other than that, there is no report. On to Public Works Committee, trustee Burks.
Again, I want to reemphasize with the job Keith and the Public Works crew have done since they replaced the former Public Works. It's a 200% difference on the positive side. And other than that, I have no report. Keith, if you've got something to add.
Just to keep you up to date, the new pickup came in a week ago Monday. It's in our fleet. Cleanup day Saturday, come out. I mean, we're expecting a lot of people. Hopefully the rain holds off for us.
When
And,
does that start?
9 a.m. it starts, 9 to noon, noon is lunch at Public Works. And hopefully at the next meeting, I'll drive the backhoe here instead of the pickup.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Old business? New business? Public comment? I don't know if we have anyone signed up here.
Carol's raised her hand. I don't think anybody's on.
Can you step forward to the mic, please, Ms. Valdez?
There's nobody else on there.
Hold on 1 second, Carol, please.
Thank you.
Hold on, I should have done this ahead of time. Sorry. Thank you.
I did want to ask, you were saying there are cameras being installed somewhere. Where were the cameras being installed? Just a minute ago?
Cameras at the police department.
We're installing a set of cameras in the basement for the lockup in the police department. We've already done the first floor. There are existing cameras here, but they're out of date. The picture quality is terrible. And the cameras in Village Hall are going to be replaced because we can't pick up your image if we were here with the cameras we have now. So Village Hall and the police department.
Because I know you were talking about blacktopping or something, then cameras, I was like, I wasn't sure where the cameras were going. Okay. What I was bringing up, and I gave it to the mayor here. And I know we had talked, I think, last meeting or maybe 2 meetings ago about the library. And I know that if you go to the Indian Prairie Library over in Darien, that is like a $50 fee that they take, or $50 amount that they take off. However, if you look at the prices, for people on this side of town to go way over there, that's a long way. But we can go to Bridgeview, which is $236, which that's a lot. But you can sign up at Justice for $66.92 per family. And that's for a suburban library card. You can go to any suburban library. And the same thing with Hodgkins. They base it on the value of your home. And for my price here would have been $66.13 a year for the whole family. So if you compare that to the $161 at the other library over there in Darien, that's a big difference for people in our community to pay. So I would like to know if the board would consider just doing, if you go and join any library, you bring your receipt and showing that you paid, they would get a reimbursement of $50.
Right. Right now, what we do is with Indian Prairie, we have an IGA with them that they just knock it off at the point of sale when they sell the card to the resident, and then they send us one bill a month. Because theoretically, what could happen is we could have 300 residents all come into the village at the same time and ask for a $50 check. So writing one check for us is a lot easier than writing 100 or 200 checks. So I am in the process. I tried it with Justice once. I'm in the process with Hodgkins to come up with an IGA, and I'm going to ask Justice to reconsider where they wanted the resident to pay the full amount and then come to us for reimbursement. We're going to see if Justice will reconsider that. But Hodgkins, Bedford Park, are you saying that they're not available?
Yeah, Bedford Park said that they're not doing any out-of-district people right now.
Okay. And then it looks like Bridgeview is in the same boat as Indian Prairie. The other one that I'm looking at and working with is Green Hills and Hickory Hills.
Okay.
So we are working on IGAs with them.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm very familiar with what this other library is because my son went to Hinsdale South High School.
Yeah. It took us, it probably took us a year to get the IGA together with Indian Prairie.
But I would think that most people over here are not gonna go way over there to the library.
The reason, the only reason to do that is that if Indian Prairie is an extremely large library with a lot more activities than others, and unless you have a resident card of Indian Prairie, you can only go in and use the library. You can't use their 3D printer. You can't use any of their amenities, and you can't go to their classes. So in order to do all of that with Indian Prairie, you have to have their card. Now, if you have a Justice card, you can go in there. You can read the books. You can look at the magazines. You can use the library. You just can't use their amenities.
Okay. Because I was just looking at the price and I was like, that's a big difference if you're just using it as a library.
Thank you very much for providing this information. And now we can follow up with Justice and Hodgkins regarding a potential IGA with them.
This is very helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Thank you,
Thanks,
Carol.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the public that would like to speak at public comment? Okay, let's look to anybody from Zoom that would like to speak during public comment.
Can I address? Okay.
Please, yeah.
If you're on Zoom, either find the raise hand function, or if you can't find the raise hand function, just turn your camera on real fast and raise your hand that way. Or would you like me just to start going through?
We can go through.
Hmm?
We can go through. There's
Okay.
only- there's
All right, we'll go through the list. Clarence Zima? Anything? Irene Hogan, anything?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Linda? Tyler A. Drew?
No, thank you.
And finally, the telephone number ending in 9829. Okay, then.
Thank you. There is no need for executive session tonight, so I will ask for a meeting, or, I'm sorry, a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Moon, second by trustee Posh. Discussion? Roll call vote?
Trustee Burks,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Nettmeyer,
Aye.
Posh,
Aye.
Moon.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 7:35.
They actually represent the Justice Legislative District, so I'll call them up tomorrow and see.
Wonderful.